Gena tinak dhin dhagena 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 tinak dhin.
Every day I wake, I make my mind up. I'ma be the one, be the truth, be the way. Yeah. Every day I wake, I make my mind up. Gotta keep my mind on the because they only telling a side of the story. Out here telling lies like they on Maury. Them poor rich kids get their money on phone it. But down here in the hood, yeah, we know Forex. We growing up, yeah. We got the good. Good of them assets, good of my bag. Get for the cash before the whole market crash. A news flash, just a flash from the past. We on the smash now. Be prepared to hit the gas, yeah.
Build a land, get the wealth, change your name up. Get the title in your hands, put your game up. Melanation, elevation, arise. We the vibe, blood eye, and we travel.
Drive.
Blood eye, and we travel.
Woo. That's my child. Woo.
Blood eye, and we travel. Hey, hey, hit him with the high, yeah. Sharing no haka from Virginia, yeah.
I know I'm more because I'm blessed. I know I'm more. I passed the test.
We got to see with the true eyes. We need some brand new bright ideas. We got the hearts and some great minds, yeah. If we could all just be sincere.
Build a land, get the wealth, change your name up. Get the title in your hands, put your game up. Melanation, elevation, arise. We the vibe, blood eye, and we travel.
Drive.
Blood eye, and we travel.
Woo. That's my child. Woo.
Blood eye, and we travel. Build a land, get the wealth, change your name up. Get the title in your hands, put your game up. Melanation, elevation, arise. We the vibe, blood eye, and we travel. Hey, hey, hit him with the high, yeah.
This could take quite a bit of time.
Pardon my autonomy. I know one day they'll honor me. This ain't pertaining to 28 Deuteronomy. Self-determination, controlling our situation. Ain't no more indoctrination from pale faces. How the fuck you bummy and broke but a pair of races? My lineage free people of color with a left make each nigga. This right here maroon, now it ain't burgundy. If you plotting murder, I'm certain that you'll need surgery. Hurt from when the burner squeeze. Protecting tribe business. Only consulting with governments tribe to tribe with it. Please don't confuse us with those considered native. Semi-autonomy never was in our nature. Just address me as Esther Loosely. Wild Indian status and Cherokees riding Ruchis. In my war bonnet, if you want it, bring it to your region. And black forces, the same color the European. Pardon my autonomy, I know one day they'll honor me. This ain't pertaining to 28 Deuteronomy. Self-determination, controlling our situation. Ain't no more indoctrination from pale faces.
Aborigines, which means what? Black folk. You never find a white aborigine. Aborigines are called natives, or they're always dark-skinned people. You and I are aborigines, but you don't like to be called an aborigine.
fast drifter. Separate, sipping, and you know I came with it if she cute. How we do?
Check, yeah, peace to the party. It's your homeboy back again with the news. Came in jamming today, didn't it? Yeah. Hey, so look, I'm on a mission today. Yesterday, for those of y'all who tapped in, they cut the string hating with the Breakfast Club. Because you know your boy was finna chop it up and we were gonna shred this to pieces on here. But you know, I want to say something. I'm proud. If y'all go check the comments, obviously I can't play the video. We're gonna do something different today. Go to the Breakfast Club and go watch the video with Jill Stein with the Green Party and see the way that they expose how the media, black media, is forcing us to only want to be Democrats, bro. You feel me? They ain't about free speech. They with the censorship. That's why they hating on the video. They just like the establishment. But y'all go check that out. And I want y'all to go, you know, see for yourself. Because, you know, we like to play stuff in more than just a couple minutes to really get the full totality. But it's all good. I ain't tripping. They just motivated me even more. So look, this is what we going to do. We going to expose how Trump exposed the corruption in the empire. And you know we're going to target black media, the people that's influencing, trying to influence us. You feel me? So what we going to start off is we're going to give an update on the boy Diddy real quick. I'm sure y'all done heard what's going on, but I'm going to show you how it ties to this political side of things. So we're going to get to that. So first, I'm going to let y'all hear this little update, and then we're going to go from there.
This morning, after being detained overnight by federal authorities in New York. According to a person familiar with the situation, Combs was caught off guard by his arrest in the lobby of the Park Hyatt Hotel, where he'd been living for several weeks. The arresting charges are part of a sealed indictment that authorities say will likely be released later this morning. But it comes 6 months after law enforcement sources told NBC that federal agents searched Combs' properties in Miami and Los Angeles, finding guns and seizing computers and cell phones. Those raids carried out on search warrants out of New York into allegations of sex trafficking, according to a source familiar with the matter. Since November 2023, Combs has also been hit with multiple civil lawsuits with similar allegations, including sexual assault, sex trafficking, and illegal distribution of guns and drugs. Combs' attorney released a statement late Monday, calling him an innocent man with nothing to hide, writing, "He is an imperfect person, but is not criminal," adding, "Please reserve your judgment until you have all the facts." Just last week, former Danity Kane member Dawn Richard alleging in a lawsuit Combs sexually assaulted her, deprived her of food and sleep, and refused to pay her adequately. In a statement, Combs' attorney called it an attempt to rewrite history and said Richard had manufactured a series of false claims, all in the hopes of trying to get a payday. In May, CNN aired this disturbing video of the rapper chasing down and attacking his longtime girlfriend Cassie Ventura at a Los Angeles hotel in 2016.
My behavior on that video is inexcusable.
The hip-hop producer issuing an apology video after the footage became public, acknowledging the incident which he'd previously denied.
I take full responsibility for my actions in that video. I was disgusted then when I did it. I'm disgusted now.
So attorneys representing some of those individuals who have filed civil suits against Sean Diddy Combs, they actually released a statement overnight, and it says in part that the evidence is very clear, and it was only a matter of time that this is an important step towards justice. Now, Sean Diddy Combs, he's denied any wrongdoing in those civil lawsuits against him, and his lawyer said in a statement that he voluntarily actually relocated to New York recently in anticipation of these charges. Hoda?
I'll grab it. Chloe, thank you so much. I want to turn now to NBC senior legal correspondent Laura Jarrett. Hi, Laura. So
hi, guys.
We don't yet know what the particular charges are. They'll be unsealed later and made public. But his own lawyers think they're going to have to do with federal racketeering charges and sex trafficking potentially.
Yeah, and if a grand jury has indicted, that means they think that they have probable cause that a crime has been committed. The standard for that is lower than if you were going to go to trial, but it does mean a significant step has happened here. They've gathered enough evidence. We've seen this been going on for months now. We knew that witnesses were going in front of the grand jury. Obviously, we'll have to wait to see that it's unsealed when that happens later in court. But if it's sex trafficking, remember the last big sex trafficking case we saw here, R. Kelly, he got 30 years in prison. Not saying that Diddy is going to get the same, but this is a significant step.
To be clear, there were a bunch of civil lawsuits against Diddy based on some of these kinds of allegations. Yeah. We don't yet know if those are the same complaining witnesses that are going to be a part of this criminal case.
And may not necessarily have to be the case. We've seen that before where sort of civil lawsuits spark a federal investigation, but there might be different witnesses. Federal subpoena power, bringing witnesses in the grand jury, that's a whole different ball of wax. So you're going to have to see who comes before the grand jury and what exactly that indictment is. If it's done by the Southern District of New York, it's probably pretty detailed, known as a speaking indictment. It's telling a story and sort of laying it all out.
And then real quickly, what are the next steps then? Arraignment, he comes to federal court?
He will come in, he will be brought in. The real trick, and listen to, is whether he gets bail and whether federal prosecutors think that he's a flight risk.
Okay. Thank you, Laura. Appreciate it.
All right, so check it out. Why does Diddy matter? One simple answer. He was one of the very first hip-hop big dogs who came into the political atmosphere within, you know, our generation, right? So I'm going to remind you, remember the whole Vote or Die campaign. Let's go. So, you know, we do our homework over here, right? So a dude that had all this going on, because think about it. For those of us who are not in Hollywood, we're not in this, class of people. We heard all the rumors, bro. You feel me? So if we know this, how them people don't know that? And you're going to make him be the spokesperson to help y'all want to push black people for reform and vote. Think about how this makes sense now. You see what I'm saying? But let's go pull it up real quick. Hold on. Y'all go look up Citizen Change. Citizen Change was the entity behind the boy Diddy getting into politics.
You are who is important here. It's not about Bush. It's not about Kerry. I am here today to launch my campaign for the people, Citizen Change. Citizen Change is a nonpartisan, nonprofit organization that will educate, motivate, and empower the more than 40.
Real quick, nonpartisan. Do y'all know what that means? That means they say they ain't picking a side. You heard him say it out of his own mouth, and if you go look up Citizen Change, you'll see the same thing. Somebody from the party, if you hear and can drop that in the link in the chat for them, let them know we ain't capping.
Million youth and minority voters, also known as the forgotten ones. This is a matter of life or death. This election is life or death, which is why Citizen Change has come up with our campaign slogan, Vote or Die. See, when you vote for a president this November, you are putting your life and the lives of your family in the hands of someone else. If I'm scaring you, good, because that's how serious this is. President Bush and Senator Kerry have shared the same dream, to become the president of the United States. With this dream comes a reality and a responsibility that if elected, you must take care of all Americans, minorities, whites, blacks, young people, old people, rich, poor, all religions, all colors, all people. And all people deserve a proper education. It's not about Bush. It's not about Kerry. It's about you. It's about you and your power and the vote and the power that you have in your vote. We're coming into the clubs where you're partying. We're coming to the beaches where you're getting your tan, your fun, your sun on. We'll be in the college campuses with our nationwide street teams motivating you and energizing you with our message. We're going to reach you through the radio airwaves. We're going to utilize all of your favorite on-air personalities. We're going to saturate the marketplace and overwhelm you with our passion and our...
Did y'all hear what he just said? I want this to click in to what that man just said. He said they want to get all the best influencers basically to talk about this. We want to dominate the airways with this. Now, this was when Bush went against Kerry. Now, tell me that ain't going on right now.
Message. We're going to bring an energy to this election that has never been seen before.
Thank you, Ms. Angela. Shout out to Ms. Angela. So the link in here, y'all go check out Citizen Change. See, they say they nonpartisan, but we got the benefit of this is fast forward now. Were they nonpartisan? Hell no. They was for the Democrats, my boy.
I'll be producing a record with some of the top producers and artists in the music industry to make sure this message is not just seen, but also heard. We will attack all of your senses, from styles and the clothes you wear, the messages you see, to the music you hear. And if you think we're going to stop there, we're not. In the final hour of the election, our coalition of the willing will be traveling to the swing states to make sure you truly understand how this game works. James Carville is America's best known. He's definitely photogenic.
The best political communications director we could find, and that's...
He knows better than anybody in the world, and I haven't figured it out. One of the things I want to learn, this is a learning process for me, is how do we talk to these people? Because the language that these candidates are speaking is traditionally spoken, and the parties are traditionally spoken, as he said, is a different language than these young people hear. I don't know, but I'm working with the best people in the world at this, and I think it's going to be a fascinating thing, and I think both of these campaigns and both of these candidates is going to be a learning process for us all.
Are you unhappy with the current government?
I would say that I would honestly say that I feel like there's some changes that have to be made on both parties, whether you're Republican, whether you're Democrat, whether you're mayor, whether you're the governor. I feel like more can be done overall by both parties, independent, Republican, Democrat. More could be done for the people. You know what I'm saying? More could be done for the people, and the only way that we can make all politicians accountable is by voting. You know, we can't just be complaining about it, and you know, and we're gonna start a positive revolution now.
Hey, so you see what it is, right? You heard that the plan was to influence all sectors and use his political influence within hip hop. He said he was gonna make songs, they was gonna make the messages, the whole nine. Now, I ain't gonna lie to y'all, I ain't too conscious or whatever you want to call it. I like to tell the truth. I used to believe I was into the system, bro. I ain't know no better. You feel me? When Obama came around the first time, when that boy Jeezy dropped that "My President is Black," I'm probably like 18, 19. Boy, I was sold. Feel me? Jeezy was jamming. Now I'm sitting here thinking about it. Listen to what the man, that boy Diddy just said. They was putting songs together. They was getting incentives and getting paid to put songs together during this time to influence their fans to go a certain way. He said it out of his own mouth, bro. But we're going to fast forward to, and we're going to speed up to 2024, show you how they playing the same games. So first, we're going to take it over here, and we're going to break down Kamala Harris over there. She went to go take her turn to speak with the National Association of Black Journalists. All right, so you know we covered Trump where he went, so we gonna be, you know, we nonpartisan. You feel me? So let's go ahead and play, and let's break this shit down because this is interesting. Hold on.
of color. For 49 years, we have advocated for fair newsrooms and fair coverage of Black people in the news. We also train journalists and media professionals and support emerging media members. I am proud to salute the 44 brave souls who established the National Association of Black Journalists in 1975. Our founders present, would you please stand? I'd like to also recognize our board of directors who work tirelessly for our members. Our board members present, please stand. I salute our staff and volunteers who have made this event possible. Please stand or wave your hands wherever you are. And I also salute our esteemed members, those who are following us from home or at work. This special event is a function of our mission to inform journalists covering the news and provide a needed service to those looking to journalists to inform them better. Every 4 years, we ask the presidential nominees to meet with us and answer questions about important issues. I am proud to say that for the first time in 24 years, both the Republican and the Democratic nominees have accepted our invitation. Just like the last discussion, PolitiFact will provide real-time fact-checking of the conversation via hashtag NABJ FactCheck on social media and through the live feed.
Tonight, we doing the autonomous party fact check. So while this going on in the chat, I want y'all to chime in. Let me know what y'all thinking. It's a real-time interview, what they played, and I want y'all to hear the questions that was asked. Because I'm going to be fair to them. I feel like they did ask some tough questions to her.
On the NABJ website. Again, thank you so much for attending.
All right, let me get the time still. I think it's finna come up. Hold on. There we go. My boy got the soul glow, don't it?
Good afternoon, everyone.
Madam Vice President, thank you so much for doing this and making the time.
Of course.
Just a little bit busy right now. We want to start on an issue that Americans across the country say is their number one concern, and that's the economy. A question that has been asked of you and everybody that's on the Democratic side is whether or not voters are better off now than they were 4 years ago. Are they better off now than they were 4 years ago?
So when we came into, well, first of all, let me just say, it is good to be with the National Association of Black Journalists, and I thank you for the work you do and that your members do every day. It is very important that we ensure that this organization and your members always have the resources and the platforms to deliver the voices that must be heard. So I thank you for hosting me today. 4 years ago, when we came in during the worst unemployment since the Great Depression. We came in during the worst public health epidemic in centuries. We came in after the worst attack on our democracy since the Civil War. And a lot of it due in large part to the mismanagement by the former president. As it relates to COVID, and obviously January 6th. And we had then a lot of work to do to clean up a mess. As of today, we have created over 16 million new jobs, over 800,000 new manufacturing jobs. We have the
16 million?
Lowest Black unemployment rate in generations.
What?
We have invested in small businesses, and they're to the benefit of many people, but including Black small businesses, some of the highest rate of creation of new Black small businesses in years. We have done the work of capping the cost of prescription medication for our seniors for issues like insulin. And again, I'm speaking to the Black journalists who care about all people, but in particular, I'll talk about the impact on Black people, where we know Black folks are 60% more likely to be diagnosed with diabetes. And we have now finally capped the cost of insulin for our seniors at $35 a month, cap the cost of prescription medication for our seniors at $2,000 a year, because we, unlike the former president who promised to do it, we finally have allowed Medicare to negotiate drug prices against the big pharmaceutical companies. And these are just some of the accomplishments. Is the price of groceries still too high? Yes. Do we have more work to do? Yes. And I will tell you, I do believe that I offer a new generation of leadership for our country that is about, in particular, turning the page on an era that sadly has shown us attempts by some to incite fear, to create division in our country, and to do the work that is about bringing some level of optimism and, dare I say, ambition about what I know is possible in our country. And so my plan for the economy includes what I imagine and believe and call an opportunity economy. What we can do to grow an opportunity economy where all people have access to the resources to compete, to apply their incredible work ethic, their ambition, their aspirations, and their dreams, and actually not just get by, but get ahead. And I can talk in more detail about it, but specifically, I'll mention a few things.
Yeah.
One of the big issues that affects people right now in terms of the economy and their economic well-being is we have a shortage of housing supply. It's too expensive. People can't afford to buy a home. You know, we grew up, our parents, where they had the ability to somehow believe the American dream was attainable. Not so much for younger working people. And I recognize that. So my approach is a new approach, which is to say, let's just take this and deal with it head on. And part of my approach is to say, I'm going to employ and engage the private sector, in particular home builders with tax credits, to give them the incentive to create new housing, 3 million by the end of my first term, and understanding that not everybody is, handed a silver spoon, but works hard and is trying to save up for a down payment. Part of my plan under my opportunity economy is to give first-time home buyers a $25,000 down payment assistance so they can just get their foot in the door to be able to then engage in what will prove to be their opportunity to build intergenerational wealth. And here's my personal experience coming at that. I grew up a middle-class kid. My mother was hardworking. She raised me and my sister Maya. She saved up. And it was only by the time I was a teenager.
Bro, we should all know her script by now. We don't need to keep getting to know you. We need to know about the issue. We don't care about your family, bro.
That she could afford to actually buy her first home. And I know, and I identify with, I know where I come from.
Madam Vice President.
And I know, but I'm just going to finish. I know that so many people work so hard and should have the opportunity to just get their foot in the door. Again, so it's not just about getting by, but getting ahead. Please.
I'd like to ask you more about the opportunity economy. Housing is a part of it, as well as expanding the earned income tax credit, financial support, as you mentioned, for first-time buyers, and a $50,000 tax deduction for startups and small businesses. But I want to talk to you about the squeeze that millions of Americans are also dealing with that impacts their ability to work and make money, and that is child care and elder care. And it's a squeeze for millions of people. In some parts of the country, it costs more for child care than for rents. I think Bloomberg recently reported an average of $33,000 a year. So I'm just wondering, you mentioned that in your opportunity economy, a child tax credit, but that's just one part of an ecosystem. Please tell us, what plans will you propose to guarantee that families can actually afford child care and elder care?
Hey, I got a shout out to this sister right here. I don't know her name, but this whole time she was very unbiased in her question. She asked some good questions. And right now they trying to do this black man versus black woman divide within the politics, but I like when you got sisters speaking out like, hey, I don't care if you're a woman, if the shit you saying don't make no sense, we got to ask some questions. So shout out to her, man. Watch this answer though.
So Sadly, the state of affairs in our country, that working people often have to decide to either be able to work or be able to afford childcare. Like they can't afford childcare and actually do the work that they want to do because it's too expensive and it doesn't actually level out in terms of the expense versus the income. My plan is that no family, no working family should pay more than 7% of their income in childcare. Because I know that when you talk about the return on that investment, allowing people to work, allowing people to pursue their dreams in terms of how they want to work, where they want to work, benefits us all. It strengthens the entire economy. We saw, for example, during the pandemic what happened. And it sadly has dissipated as a conversation that we need to resuscitate, which is the number of women that had to leave the workforce because of a lack of childcare and home health care. And so many of our families, and particular women, end up carrying the responsibility. Men do too, of
Look what she's trying to do right here.
course. What we call people who are in the sandwich generation.
Exactly.
Who have young children and are also taking care of their parents. And it is just absolutely too expensive for them to be able to work and do that. So my plan is not only about 7% of income for
Y'all remember this number, 7%. We finna break this down.
for working people for childcare, but also we need to do better for our childcare providers and our whole healthcare providers in terms of ensuring that they receive the wages that they deserve based on the dignity of their work. I have spent time with home healthcare providers, and their work is some of the most taxing work you can imagine. And I actually, when my mother was sick with cancer, did a lot in terms of taking care of her. And the work that is about taking care of a loved one, in particular an elder, is extraordinarily heavy in terms of the emotional toll, the time it takes, and we do it because that is what we do, but not everyone has the ability to take time from work to do it, and they need help, and we need to make sure we have home health care workers that can help them. But I want to also get back to the earlier point that you made about extending the child tax credit. So part of my new approach is we need to expand the child tax credit. And so part of my plan that is under an opportunity economy is to extend and expand the child tax credit to $6,000 so that young families in particular, for the first year of their child's life, which is an extraordinarily important time in their development, have the resources to be able to buy a crib, buy a car seat, buy children's clothing, and not have to worry about whether they're going to be able to meet their other needs. And I don't need to remind anybody here, especially these esteemed journalists, but when we expanded the child tax credit a couple years ago, we reduced Black child poverty by half.
Cap. Bruh, listen to this, bruh. Hold on. This don't make no sense, bro.
And so again, if you talk about the benefit, and if you think about the benefit to the economy overall, it strengthens our economy to do things like pay attention to affordable child care, affordable home health care, and extending the child tax credit.
Madam Vice
Okay, so hold on. So that was a great question that she asked. And the only real policy that she could speak to was the 7%. So let's break down the 7%. She say that she want to get to where the average American shouldn't have to pay 7%, more than 7% of their annual salary for the household. Okay. All right. And then she says she also want to make sure the child care providers are able to provide the same wages. Well, look, them two things don't go together. We're going to do some simple math. The average American make around 40,000 single, average single American. What's going on in the Black community? We got a lot of single households. So let's say the average is about 40,000. So based on 40,000 a year, your maximum that you would pay out for childcare is $2,800 for the year. That's like $53 a week, bro. So yeah, the person who get that deal, they may love it, but what they won't love is now the childcare offices ain't gonna want to take low income people because they can't operate no business off $53 a child, bro. Come on, man. Like, think about what she said. That makes zero sense. So you can tell it's just fluff what the lady's saying. Do the math, check what I'm saying. Run it back. She said 7% annual salary for a household. That's cool if you married and the household making 200,000. You see what I'm saying? But if you a single-led household, that don't help you. And those are the ones who needed the help the most. So let's keep rocking.
President, Black men, as you know, are a closely watched voting bloc. You've hosted Black men at your residence.
Yep.
You have engaged Black men and centered them in your economic opportunity tour. But polling shows that some Black men, particularly young Black men, are considering voting for Donald Trump, and they see him as better for the economy. What is your message to young Black male voters who feel left out of this economy, and how can your economic policies materially change their lives?
So I appreciate the spirit of the question, but I'll tell you, I've often been asked this question in a way that I've had to respond by first saying that I think it's very important to not operate from the assumption that Black men are in anybody's pocket. Black men are like any other voting group. You gotta earn their vote. So I'm working to earn the vote. Not assuming I'm going to have it because I am Black, but because the policies and the perspectives I have.
Hey, so a lot of people worldwide been saying, I don't know if I ever heard her say she Black. You done heard it here in front of the Black journalist group. She let it be known.
Understands what we must do to recognize the needs of all communities, and I intend to be a president for all people. Specifically as it relates to what we need to do, to your point around economic opportunity. Yes, I started way before I was at the top of the ticket at what I called an economic opportunity tour, focused on Black men.
A tour.
Men. Understanding that, for example, we have so many entrepreneurs in the community who do not have access to capital, but they've got great ideas, an incredible work ethic, the ambition, the aspiration, the dream, but don't have the relationships necessarily. So my work has included, as vice president, getting billions more dollars into community banks, including working with the big banks to do that, so that we can increase access to capital for our small businesses, for our startups. Part of my plan under my economic opportunity plan going forward is that right now, startup entrepreneurs, small businesses only get a tax deduction of $5,000. Nobody can start a small business with $5,000. So I'm expanding that to $50,000. Understanding, again, that when people have the opportunity to have the resources to get started, they're going to put the good ideas, they're going to put the hard work into it. And part of what I also know is that our young Black men, our Black men, just like any group of people, anybody, our small businesses are really the backbone of our economy overall, and when they do better economically, we all do better. Part of my work is about understanding what we need to do in dealing with, for example, the historic inequities that have faced the Black community around home ownership, right? I don't have to go through the history with anybody here about what that has meant in terms of redlining, what that has meant in terms of biases and home appraisals, and what the impact it has had on stemming the opportunity to build intergenerational wealth because of those obstacles. So part of the work that I have done and will continue to do is identify, speak truth about those obstacles, and address them. Another example is medical debt. 1 in 4 Black families or individuals is more likely to carry medical debt than
what does God do with Black men?
Others. So part of my perspective, and as vice president, part of the work that we have done is to say that we're going to eliminate medical debt from being on your credit score. Because until now, medical debt worked against your credit score, and people know their credit score like your weight, right? You know that number. And the difference between what that number is and what it needs to be is the difference between you being able to get a car loan, a small business loan, or even a lease on an apartment. And so part of my approach is understanding the obstacles that traditionally and currently exist to allow anyone, including Black men, be able to achieve economic wealth And I'm going to tell you, I don't think it is sufficient to just only talk about economic policy around reducing unemployment. It is an important marker, and I'm proud of the work that we've done thus far. But it should be a baseline there. Everybody's working. The point.
She up there nervous.
Point is, do people have an opportunity to build wealth? If that's what they choose to do, if that's what they want to do. And a lot of my perspective as we go forward is just that. I believe that there are a lot of opportunities that are available to the American people if we just see, if we see people and understand
the
what they
question was
want for
about
themselves
me.
and their families, and then meet them where they are.
Madam Vice President, I want to switch gears a little bit and talk about the war in Gaza. You've called for a ceasefire hostage deal and a two-state solution as an end to the war for many months now. And while
You see, she ain't had no love for the black man. Just make sure you understood that. Goddamn, you talking about everybody else. What they got to do with us? Everybody got opportunity around this month.
you've expressed support for Israel to defend itself, a two-state solution and a ceasefire are at odds with what Benjamin Netanyahu has said is their right to defense. If it matters, as you say, how Israel defends itself, where do you see the line between aggression and defense? And our power as Israel's ally to do something?
Okay, a lot to unpack in what you just said. So let's start with this.
Hey, she don't like that sister, but she on her ass, though. I like them questions she asked. She got her shook out here.
I absolutely believe that this war has to end, and it has to end as soon as possible. And the way that will be achieved is by getting a hostage deal and a ceasefire deal done. And we are working around the clock to achieve that end. Stepping back, October 7, 1,200 Israelis were slaughtered, and actually and some Americans, by the way, in that number, slaughtered. Young people who were attending a concert, women were horribly raped. And yes, so I have said, Israel has a right to defend itself. We would. And,
but Madam Vice President,
let me
I think
finish.
my ask is the difference between aggression and defense.
It's important to put it in context, which is what I'm doing, and I'll get to that.
Oh, yeah.
And so how it does so matters. And far too many innocent Palestinians have been killed. Women and children. We have seen with horror the images coming out of Gaza. And we have to take that seriously. And we have to agree that not only must we end this war, but we have to have a goal of a two-state solution, because there must be stability and peace in that region, inasmuch as what we do in our goal is to ensure that Israelis have security and Palestinians in equal measure have security.
She talk funny because this ain't her natural pattern. This is her character.
Self-determination and dignity.
A question for you on that, though. What levers does the U.S. have to support Palestinians in their right to self-determination? And is it even possible as Israel's ally?
Well, absolutely. I will tell you, I have been actively involved in, for example, meeting not only with Israeli officials, but with Arab officials to talk about how we can construct a day after scenario where we participate in ensuring those exact goals that I outlined, including as part of the principles that should be applied to those goals, that there be no reoccupation of Gaza, that there be no changing of the territorial lines in Gaza, that there be an ability to have security in the region for all concerned in a way that we create stability, and let us also recognize in a way that ensures that Iran is not empowered in this whole scenario in terms of the peace and stability of the region. But absolutely, the United States of America absolutely has a role, which is why we have been active, in particular with the Qataris and the Egyptians, around attempting to get a deal done and get it done as quickly as possible.
But Madam Vice President, just to follow up really quickly, is there a specific policy change that you, as President of the United States, would say you would do that would help this along? Because you've gotten a lot of credit for emphasizing the humanity of Palestinians. But what I often hear from folks is that there's no policy change that either you or President Biden have gone and said they would do. Is there a specific policy change as president that you would do in our helping of Israel?
We need to get this deal done, and we need to get it done immediately, and that is my position, and that is my policy. We need to get this deal done.
But in the way that we send weapons, in the way that we interact as their ally, are there specific policy changes?
Well, Eugene, for example, one of the things that we have done that I am entirely supportive of is the pause that we've put on the 2,000-pound bombs. And so there is some leverage that we have had and used. But ultimately,
this lady says she's happy about the restriction of 2,000-pound bombs.
The thing that is going to unlock everything else in that region is getting this deal done. And I'm not going to disclose private conversations, but I will tell you, I've had direct conversations with the Prime Minister, with the President of Israel, with Egyptian leaders, and with our allies. And I think we've made ourselves very clear this deal needs to get done in the best interest of everyone in the region, including getting those hostages out who, I mean, we saw the latest example of what happened with the six most recently, one of whom was an American citizen.
But what do you say to those that say that's not enough, that stopping the 2,000-pound bombs the one time wasn't enough?
My boy got that fro, don't he, with the soul glow, you hear me?
That this administration, your possible administration, has to do more?
Well, we are doing the work of putting the pressure on all parties involved to get the deal done. But let me be very clear also. I support Israel's ability to defend itself. And I support the need for Palestinians to have dignity, self-determination, and security as we move forward and get a state deal done. But right now, the thing we need to get done is this hostage deal and this ceasefire deal. We need a ceasefire. We need the hostage deal.
I want to switch gears to racial justice, Madam Vice President.
Oh, hey, it's finna get good. Put your seatbelt on. Put your seatbelt on.
Last month, you eulogized Congresswoman Sheila Jackson Lee.
Yeah.
Jackson Lee's signature bill, one of a few, was H.R. 40, which would create a commission to study the history of U.S. slavery and study the issue of reparations. She introduced H.R. 40 every session of Congress, taking up the mantle from Congressman John Conyers. This is a bill that you have co-sponsored as a U.S. Senator. Yet, this has, despite the fact that this has been, similar commissions have been created on the state level and on the local level, is yet to pass in Congress, let alone come out of committee. Congresswoman Jackson Lee, Congresswoman Barbara Lee, and other advocates have called for President Biden to take executive action to create this commission. Would you, as president, take executive action to create this commission, or do you believe that it should happen in Congress?
Well, first of all, as you mentioned, Sheila Jackson Lee, she was an extraordinary leader who we just recently.
Hey, before y'all hear this answer, let's be clear on what Buddy just asked her. He basically asking, what is your stance on getting H.R. 40 passed at a federal level for the study of reparation? Because we know it's happening in different states like California, but he's specifically asking her where you stand with this here. Now watch this.
Lost, and she was a friend and a real champion for so many issues. So I feel compelled to say that about her. On the issue of what we need to do going forward, look, first of all, we just need to speak truth about history in spite of the fact that some people would try and erase history and try and teach our children otherwise. We need to speak truth about the generational impact of our history in terms of the generational impact of slavery, the generational impact of redlining, of Jim Crow law. I could go on and on and on. These are facts that have had impact. And we need to speak truth about it. And we need to speak truth about it in a way that is about deriving solutions. And frankly, I think that we, and part of that is studying it to figure out exactly what we need to do. But part of what we can do right now is, for example, what I'm talking about in terms of building an opportunity economy, which is addressing explicitly the obstacles that historically and currently exist.
Now, y'all correct me if I'm wrong. What does the opportunity economy have to do with reparations? He didn't ask you a direct question. She done went around the moon and back. We done went into Jupiter. We finna get back to America. Answer the question.
And dealing with them, student loan debt, medical debt, bias in home appraisals, what we need to do in terms of dealing with an issue that I have championed for years, Black maternal mortality, which is the fact that Black women are 3 to 4 times more likely to die in connection with childbirth than other women. And we know that the reasons for that include disparities that pre-exist her pregnancy, including disparities that exist in the—
What does this have to do with reparations, bruh? This shit, bruh. Tell me if I'm tripping, y'all.
What? Bro, what are you talking about, man? Bro, I'm out, man. That nigga's tripping.
She dodging this boy like Mayweather. Hold on.
The system during her pregnancy. So all of those things must be addressed.
But do you have a position on whether that should happen, this commission should happen through executive order or via Congress?
I think Congress ultimately will have the ability to do this work. I'm not discounting the importance of any executive action, but ultimately Congress. Because if you're going to talk about it in any substantial way, there
Remember, she just said this. We're going to break this down.
will be hearings, there will be a level of public education and dialogue that, and I think that was part of the spirit behind the congressional action thus far, to ensure that everyone can participate in this conversation in a way that elevates knowledge about history and the reference points that have that are the impetus of this conversation. Especially, again, when people are trying to deny history, when people are, so-called leaders are saying that enslaved people benefited from slavery. I mean, let's talk about the delta here in terms of the work that needs to be done. It's profound.
Madam Vice President, I want to move to Springfield.
No. Y'all move. We're going to hit this real quick because this is important. So Miss Black Woman who running for the Black people just said maybe a couple weeks ago that if reparations came across her desk, she would sign it. Now, if y'all in the chat, y'all tell me if I'm lying. We already hit on this, right? Played the video. She said it. All right. So now she's saying that, buddy, he know what he was asking. That was a great question by the brother. He say, would you want this to be done by executive order or by Congress? Executive order, the president can do this. They don't need Congress on behalf to do this. Now, remember, if you watch the Jill Stein interview, she schooled them on there, telling them it's certain things that the executive branch can do without Congress. That's your executive order, bro. So that's why he asked her in that way. And she literally went to the weaker version, which is Congress. So either she don't know what she talking about or she playing on y'all because y'all think she finna go do something for Black people. But just remember, that's what she really said, though.
Reparations for Black people.
Well, listen, again, we had over 200 years of slavery. We had Jim Crow for almost a century. We had legalized discrimination and segregation, and now we have segregation and discrimination that is not legal but still exists and is a barrier to progress. We have disparities around housing. We have disparities around education. We have disparities around income. And we have to recognize that everybody did not start out on an equal footing in this country. And in particular, Black people have not. And so we have got to recognize that and do something about that and give folks a lift up. That's why, for example, I'm proposing the LIFT Act. Give people who are making $100,000 or less as a family a tax credit.
which will benefit and uplift 60% of black families who are in poverty.
So by default, it affects black families, but there's not a particular policy for African Americans that you would explore.
But no, if you look at the reality of who will benefit from certain policies, when you take into account that they're not starting at the same place and they're not starting on equal footing, it will directly benefit black children, black families, black homeowners, because the disparities are so significant. So if we focus on the specific issues that have resulted in the greatest disparities, and we understand that that's part of why we're doing it. Listen, the reality also is this: any policy that will benefit black people will benefit all of society. Let's be clear about that. Let's really be clear about that. So I'm not going to sit here and say I'm going to do something that's only going to benefit black people. No, because whatever.
Bruh. I'm just saying, that what she said, so she ain't lie. So let's go back to her. Why she telling the truth?
We've seen school closures, parents worried about their kids leaving the home because of racist conspiracy theories that I won't repeat here, but they have been repeated by leaders on the Republican side, President Trump, former President Trump, and Vice Presidential nominee J.D. Vance. From your perspective, is this just a case of irredeemable racism that can't be mitigated by any rational action, or is this a situation in which a federal response could help this community heal? There's a question of resources and
Hey, you can tell that she frustrated and annoyed. She feel like it's beneath her to even be here and answer these questions. Look how she rocking now. And they showing her the utmost grace. Remember, when Trump went through there, they was late setting up the shit. It ain't look like this. The sound wasn't together. And they came off attacking the man from the dump. Versus here, they've been nothing but courteous, showed her all kind of respect. Now, they asking tough questions too, but it wasn't no disrespect. But check her demeanor out, man. You work for us. You trying to get the people vote. This how you acting with them because they asked you, he ain't throw you no softball.
I'll let you finish and then I'll speak. No, it's a crying shame. I mean, my heart breaks for this community. You know, there were children, elementary school children, who it was school photo day.
Look at this lady, bro.
You remember what that's like? Going to school on picture day? Who were dressed up in their best, got all ready, knew what they were going to wear the night before, and had to be evacuated. Children. A whole community put in fear. And I'll say a couple things about it. One, you know, I learned a long time ago in my career, having a background as a prosecutor, when you have these positions, when you have that kind of microphone in front of you, you really ought to understand at a very deep level how much your words have meaning.
Take your own advice.
I learned at a very young stage of my...
Oh, real quick, y'all, my bad. I had posted a link in there. I had to make sure I talk about this. I posted a link in the chat, and the link was to the Biden-Harris administration that advanced equity and opportunity for Asian American, Native Hawaiian, and Pacific Islander communities across the country. Now, you couldn't do nothing that was only for black people, but you did do something that was only for other communities. That shit didn't help us at all. So this is how these people playing with you. Don't get mad at me, bro. I ain't do none of this. We just pointing out the sources and we went to actually read. I'm just telling you what it is, but make sure you know she's saying what she wouldn't do, and she didn't do it as vice president. Now, as the president, she really is telling you the truth. She ain't got no plans for no reparations. So for those of you who care about that, because the autonomous party, we're not going for reparations in the way that the black community think of now, because we understand that the slave story wasn't what it was. But you know how we do on Sunday, tap into the podcast, we get deep into the history. So let's get back into it. We about to the end of this interview, and then we're gonna keep on moving.
My career, the meaning of my words could impact whether somebody was free or in prison. As Attorney General, I was of California, 5th largest economy in the world. I was acutely aware that my words could move markets. When you are bestowed with a microphone that is that big, there is a profound responsibility that comes with that. That is an extension of what should not be lost in this moment, this concept of the public trust. To then understand what the public trust means. It means that you have been invested with trust to be responsible in the way you use your words, much less how you conduct yourself. And especially when you have been and then seek to be again President of the United States of America. And so I go back to, it's a crying shame, literally. What's happening to those families, those children in that community, not to mention what is happening in terms of, look, you say you care about law enforcement resources being put into this because of these serious threats that are being issued against a community that is living a productive, good life before this happened. And spewing lies.
Look at this lady. Spewing lies. Listen, bro, when y'all know the Haitian people to be staying down or be some punks to anyone, bro. You think because of stuff talked about in the media, Haitian people just getting beat up on and attacked? Man, come on, man. What is you talking about? This is all in the media. A black man was the one who even said any of this, and he wasn't saying it to disrespect him. He just was saying what he saw. Whether it was true or not, it did come from a citizen. This ain't nothing that was made up, bro. You see how they dragging this on? This ain't got nothing to do with the real issue, bro. Like, think about what we saying now.
That are grounded in tropes that are age old. And look, I said it not very far from here the other day at the debate. This is not new. This is not new in terms of these tropes. This is not new in terms of where it's coming from. And, you know, whether it is refusing to rent to people, rent to black families, whether it is taking out a full-page ad in the New York Times against 5 innocent black and Latino teenagers, the Central Park 5, calling for their execution, whether it is referring to the first black president of the United States with a lie, birther lies. And look,
bro, we talking about Springfield, Ohio right now. She done went to New York City, boss. She done talked about Obama. What they got to do with Springfield?
American people deserve, and I do believe want better than this. I do believe that. I know. The vast majority of us as Americans know we have so much more in common than what separates us. I know that. I know that regardless of someone's background, their race, their gender, their geographic location, I know that people are deeply troubled by what is happening to that community in Springfield, Ohio. And it's got to stop. And we've got to say that you cannot be entrusted with standing behind the seal of the President of the United States of America, engaging in that hateful rhetoric that, as usual, is designed to divide us as a country, is designed to have people pointing fingers at each other. It's designed to do that. And I think most people in our country, regardless of their race, are starting to see through this nonsense and to say, you know what, let's turn the page on this. This is exhausting and it's harmful and it's hateful and grounded in some age-old stuff that we should not have the tolerance for. So let's turn the page and chart a new way forward and say, you can't have that microphone again.
Madam Vice President, I'm switching gears again.
Okay.
Quick question. I want to talk to you about gun control. So you've said you support an assault weapons ban and universal background checks, and we actually learned during the debate that you are a gun owner. But in cities like Philadelphia, handguns are responsible for most homicides and violent crime. The most recent FBI data shows handguns were involved in 59% of murders in our country. How will you address the issue of the use of handguns? Because a push for an assault weapons ban only addresses a significant but small part of the problem.
So, first of all, yes, I am a gun owner, and Tim Walz is a gun owner, and we're not trying to take anybody's guns away from them. But we do need an assault weapons ban. Assault weapons are designed to kill a lot of human beings quickly,
Yes,
and have
assault
no
weapons
place,
ban,
and have
yes.
no place, I'm gonna get to it.
Yeah,
And have no place on the streets of a civil society. We need universal background checks, which, to your point about handguns, is about saying that it is just reasonable to want reasonable gun safety laws that say we should do background checks that we ought to know. It's just reasonable. You might want to know before someone can buy a lethal weapon if they've been found by a court to be a danger to themselves or others. You might just want to know.
And respectfully, we do understand that.
But you're asking about...
I'm asking specifically about handguns, because many of those handguns aren't purchased in places.
Checks apply to handguns.
Exactly, because criminals ain't buying no goddamn guns from the store with their ID, bro. Like, what are we talking about? They ain't registering these guns that they finna go out here and shoot the block up with. Is you green? Like, that shit be crazy when talking about they want to stop the crime by making the legal gun owners buy it from the store. They not gonna just be committing crimes with guns they purchase from the store. It's the people in the streets who buy hot weapons, bro. These people just be saying stuff. This how you know they are actually trying to go after the weapons, because why would this even be a thing when criminals don't go through this process? They not waiting for approval to get their gun from you, bro.
Yes.
They do.
But in
And
many instances, those handguns aren't even bought lawfully. Yes.
Which is why I also have been very adamant for years. In fact, I myself protested at a gun show probably 10, 15 years ago about the gun show loophole and why we need to close that. Because what ends up...
See, that's why the white boys don't want to vote for you right there. You sound crazy. Gun shows where you can get some of the most fire shit in the market. Why would... Man, nobody's going for that who like guns. That shit don't make no sense.
Happening is that gun shows at flea markets, gun dealers are not, under existing law in the past, required to register their sales. And so you are exactly right that a lot of homicides, for example, a good number of them, I don't have the statistic in front of my mind, are committed with illegally purchased guns. And that's why we need to address each entry point in the issue, including universal background checks, closing the gun show loophole, and what we need to do as a general matter to focus not only on reaction to crime, but prevention of crime. So you're raising a very important issue that has many facets, including what we need to do in terms of reasonable gun safety laws and what we need to do around crime prevention, what we need to do around crime deterrence. But listen, I have personally prosecuted homicide cases. I have held the hands of mothers who have come to me crying, who has
Her strategy, all emotion.
said, I only want to talk to Kamala because they knew when they sat down, I would treat them with the dignity and respect that they were entitled and due.
You know, they just dropped a documentary about the way that she was prosecuting people out there in California. If y'all want us to break that down, let me know.
About the loss of their child, often their son, to gun violence and the need to take it seriously. And we must take it seriously. In every way, understanding it's not just about a soundbite. It's about a comprehensive approach that deals with the tragedy of, to your point, everyday gun violence in America. It's real. It has had a profound impact in terms of trauma that for the most part has gone undiagnosed and untreated. The trauma that exists in communities around the violence of losing their children, losing a brother, losing a father, an uncle, all of that must be addressed, and we have to have a holistic response to it.
Are there things we haven't thought about yet? Because every time we bring up this issue of gun violence, universal background checks comes up and a ban on assault weapons. Are there other solutions that you're also thinking about that will get at this issue?
Absolutely. For example, part of what we did as vice president with the president, we were able to pass the first meaningful gun safety legislation in 30 years. And part of what that involved was millions and millions of dollars to put more mental health counselors in public schools, right?
Bruh, what? She just asked them, were there other things to help with gun safety? The first thing she said is they spent millions of dollars to put mental health counselors in schools. Bruh, schools don't have the majority of the shootings. School shootings is rare. Like, let's factually, when it comes to numbers, these are not the ways that most people get shot at no school. That makes zero sense. But you know what they do? The mental health crisis with the special ed and things going on with the schools is already through the roof. So why would you spend more money trying to put mental health in there, which really just means specialized programs to target kids, bro? What they got to do with guns?
Because we know that there is an aspect of this that is about treating the trauma and dealing with it at its source before it ends up manifesting itself in a problem. There is the work that we need to do that is about putting resources into communities around violence prevention. I've been a big advocate of that for years, which includes what we need to do around putting resources into community-based intervention that is not just requiring on the good people in the community to volunteer to do the intervention, but actually paying people to do it because it's a full-time job. It's about...
So what is she speaking on? She's speaking on defunding the police and doing, it was a show. What was this show called? Chicago. It's a TV show, Chicago. They had a series on there when they took away the police and they had the community being the police, basically. You know what I'm saying? The Democrats, and she already been on record of saying that she wanted to defund the police. Some of y'all may say, oh man, they ain't doing nothing but some crazy shit, but let's keep it a buck. A lot of y'all know that some type of police force need to be there. The problem is there need to be more people from that community so they ensure that things go the right way. Because if you from a black community, you got a cousin, brother, uncle, somebody who worked for the police, because it's one of the better paying jobs in poverty areas.
Understanding what we need to do to, again...
Yeah, the shot. Thank you, baby. That's shot. To show the shot, they had this happen. They defunded the police. You know how they play in front of our face with this scripted reality, just like this here.
Understand that, to your point, we have to have a holistic response to this issue and prioritize it instead of reacting to the tragedy that sadly they are too predictable. Let's all agree, enough of that. There are very few solutions that we haven't thought of. We need to put the resources into them.
Madam Vice President, we want to move to the topic of reproductive access, something that you have worked and leading on both for the administration.
I know they finna go and call me a misogynist for this here, but it's probably like 7-8 minutes left. She finna do the same dance around all the questions she been doing, but we need to get to other videos while we still here. I take the charge, but just know, go over just look up NABJ Harris and you'll see the rest of the 6-7 minutes of the interview. It's just like the 40-something other minutes we done watch. But I want to take it over here. So you remember we talked about Biden them, so they were finna throw a Black Excellence brunch at the White House. So they had the hookahs on deck, they had the fire DJ, they had some singers and food, the whole nine. All right, so we had to follow up on that. So let's listen to that boy Biden speech at the Black Excellence brunch in DC.
Than life itself. And I know how much it matters to parents who believe in those dreams. And no matter how impossible they might seem, my parents have always believed in me. My parents have always believed in me. When I said I wanted to start a production company at 13, and that belief and their support and that love has carried me through every challenge I have faced so far. So to the parents raising young Black girls and boys with big ambitions, please, please keep supporting them and pushing them forward, because they're the future leaders. They are the future leaders we are looking to. Black excellence isn't just something we celebrate today. It's something we live every day by creating spaces, opportunities, and legacies that will last for generations. And I'm so proud to be a part of this movement. And I'm excited to see where we're headed next. Now, it is my great pleasure to introduce the President of the United States, Joseph Biden.
Sleepy Joe.
Good afternoon, and welcome. Welcome to the first ever White House brunch in celebration of Black excellence.
Celebrate you darkies. Listen at these niggas.
Thank you.
Bro, that's some top tier cooning, man. They over here like this man been standing on business. Listen to these niggas.
Marseille, thank you for that introduction. You just shared something that so many of us can relate to. My dad taught me, and I mean this, my sister was here earlier today. Our dad taught us that family is the beginning, the middle, and the end. It's everything. And thank you to all the participants of St. Augustine Gospel Choir. Are they still here? Give them a round of applause. They've been with me. They've been with me since I was vice president. Trell Thomas, thank you for creating space for fellowship and community, kid.
Kid, grown man.
Grammy Award-winning singer Monica Who will perform shortly, I might add.
You can tell he reading straight from the prompter. Performing shortly, I might add.
I want to thank you for our renowned chef, Kwame.
Hey, that boy was nervous as hell. He had to say Kwame. He's like, oh, I can't fuck this up. Boy, they gonna crucify me. That nigga seeing that name up there was nervous.
Amazing food you're eating. I hope you got to eat it, or will eat it. And thank you, Shalonda and Karine, for part of the most diverse administration in American history that taps into the full talents of our nation. I made a commitment. My administration would look like America, and it does. I want to take a moment to say something like so many Americans like Karine, as he pointed out, a proud Haitian American, community that's under attack in our country right now. Simply wrong. There's no place in America. This has to stop what he's doing. It has to stop.
You see how they all on code all immediately on the Haitian Act. They ready to pass a bill.
Now, thank you all for being here in this historic day. Today, we recognize that this nation would not exist, and this is literal, without the blood, sweat, and tears, without the determination, dreams, and contributions of Black Americans.
He ain't lying about that part. You just don't know your true history. Tap in with the party on Sunday. We can get to it.
That's a fact. This place wouldn't exist. It's a fitting event during this fantastic Congressional Black Caucus Week. All the members.
You see they out there now. They out there.
Members of the Black Caucus that are here today, stand up. I want to see y'all. Come on.
Yeah, show these people because they done committed treason against the Black American, boy. We gonna get to them. Y'all want us to break down the Black Caucus and tell you what's really going on. Tap in, let us know.
They're the best. I wanted to host this lunch for a few reasons. First, to show my personal gratitude. Growing up, I'd walk into the kitchen of my grandpa's house in Scranton, and he and the adults would be having a conversation about what's going on in the neighborhood, what's going on in the world. And they'd let me sit down I got involved in public life because of civil rights when I moved from Scranton to Delaware, which was segregated by law. Throughout my career, I'd attend morning mass at my Catholic church and then attend Sunday services at the AME church in Wilmington, planning the desegregation efforts of my
That man say he used to go to Catholic church in the morning, then he used to go to the African Methodist church later in the day. Who believe that?
state that had been segregated by law. You know, I'd be home for our own Sunday
Boy, they say they was out there swag surfing for Joe.
dinners. Those conversations, those sermons shaped who I became. The bottom line is, the black community has always had my back and I've always had yours.
Bruh, that man say he always had the black community back. So this is how you know they disrespecting black people. They know that y'all ain't gonna go look at y'all history. That man say he always had our back.
So thank you for all you've taught me. Thank you for all the love you've extended to me. I also wanted to host this brunch because we have progress to celebrate. Together,
What we got, Joe?
we're making the most significant investment in black America in all of American history. We've centered racial equity as the center of everything we do. With your help, in just 3.5 years, we've created over 2 million new black jobs for black Americans and black.
He meant that. He wasn't joking.
By the way, the next black job to be filled is as President of the United States of America.
Look at that corny ass shit. Shut your stupid
All right,
ass
watch
up,
me.
boy.
We have the lowest black unemployment rate on record. More black Americans have health care than any time in history. Historic $18 billion to HBCUs. Everybody said, why am I doing that? Anyone in an HBCU is qualified to do anything we need to be done in America, but you don't have the endowments. They don't have the laboratories. They don't have all the. Now they do. More than 4 million people receive student debt relief under my.
He say now the HBCUs got all the stuff like the bigger school. What is happening there, bro? Which HBCU is that? See, these folks just be saying stuff and they go unchecked. They just simply not true, bro. What is we talking about?
My plan, a significant number of whom are black borrowers. The racial wealth gap is the smallest in 20 years, removing poisonous lead pipes in every American pipe in America, lead pipes, so people can drink clean water without brain damage. We're delivering high-speed, affordable internet to every American, which today is as essential as electricity was when FDR delivered it in his term. On this very lawn, in front of the White House built by enslaved people, we hosted the first ever Juneteenth concert after I made Juneteenth a federal holiday.
This boy talking about Juneteenth.
And on this lawn, we celebrated the first black woman appointed to the United States Supreme Court, a best decision I made, Justice
Look at this,
Ketanji Brown Jackson.
Interpreter sign
today,
language. She going crazy.
We're on a long line of patriots throughout our history, who made the promise of America real for all Americans. All of you has pushed us forward to be a country that we say we are. We say we're a country that values freedom, justice, equality, and dignity for all. Today, we honor this simple truth. Black history is American history. Black excellence is American excellence. And folks,
Look at the
we
crowd.
don't
That's
erase
right.
history like others are trying to. We make history. I know it because I've seen it. I've been vice president of the first black president in American history.
We sure have.
President to the first black vice president. And
Yep.
God willing, to the first female black president in American history.
I ain't with you there, Joe.
Kamala wanted to be here today, but she's traveling and she couldn't be here.
Of course.
But she's always there with us. We'll always be there for her. On this day, we celebrate black excellence. Let us remember, history is in our hands. It's literally in our hands. The power to drive positive change is in our hands. Future is in our hands. It really is.
Hey, so it's enough of Joe with this bullshit. And maybe it ain't but 2 minutes left. You want to go watch the rest, look up Biden address at the Black Excellence Brunch. But he said he was looking up to the future and doing all of these things in office. Let's listen to what the House Oversight Committee had to say about a couple of them things that Biden-Harris was doing in office. And remember, if you watch the Jill Stein interview, she said that she would call Kamala Harris a war criminal, which would be tied to Biden too. Let's break down a little bit of why.
Really, to every tax-paying citizen. We're talking about the Inflation Reduction Act, which is almost 2 years old as of this August. And it also, I noticed in the president's schedule that he was getting briefed on the Inflation Reduction Act. So I'm sure he got this briefing while he was being briefed on the Inflation Reduction Act, which we have renamed Invest in Radical Activities Act, because that's what this is about. So we've really been digging into who is getting these massive amounts of grants through the EPA. There's $3 billion in the Inflation Reduction Act, the IRA, that will go for different climate kind of buckets. And in our investigation, we found that a lot of this money that's going out really has little to do with the environment and a lot to do with funding groups that are basically engaged in what I characterize as anti-American activities. They're anti-American, anti-Semitic, anti-Israel, anti-police, and anti-border security. So the first one I'm going to go to is, and before I do that, I'm also going to say that Vice President Harris, who is now the nominee for the Democrat presidential race, is quoted here. "I've put equity at the center of our nation's largest investment in climate in history to reach the organizations that know their community best." That's what she said when they rolled out and actually named these organizations. And interestingly, today, there was a news article today saying that the green groups have now formed a coalition today, and guess who they're endorsing for president? Vice President Harris. So let's go over to the following one. I say follow the money because I think that's where you find out. The first one is climate justice. It's up on the top right-hand bar. They're $100 million. They have glorified Hamas in a lot of their social media, on their websites and other things. And they think Israel has no right to exist. They're getting $100 million. This is a direct grant to them. The next one is the NDN Collective. Do you know them? Yes, they're a partner. Yes, they, on their social media, call the United States a so-called country and also call for the defunding of the police and our United States military. Imagine that in these times right now. Next, we have two New York and New Jersey coalitions that are getting $50 million. They're actually going to be participating in granting $50 million. Their quotes are, "The border and concept of citizenship is racist," and wants no collaboration with federal immigration officials, and the ICE agenda is racist as well. Then we have the social and environmental entrepreneurs, $50 million. Again, abolish police, abolish prisons. The latest one, and those previous ones I'm talking about were all announced in December by the Vice President and named on the EPA's materials as they rolled them out through the press. The Ella Baker Center for Human Rights, the most recent funding, as announced last week, is getting between $1 and $3 million, and they are actively advocating to defund police, decriminalize shoplifting, and abolish our prisons. So I think that that this uncovers quite a bit of the $3 billion. We're up to $200 million, actually, a little bit.
Now, understand who we're listening to. This is the House Oversight Commission, who goes over policies, investigating stuff that the funds that you say you was going to allocate to certain people, they going to check all of this stuff. They are saying and alleging that the stuff that the act that was passed for the Inflation Reduction Act, they're saying that really the money was going to a whole bunch of other things that had nothing to do with reducing inflation. Now, peep game, I know this ain't the laughs and the ha-has that people be looking for, but this is the real information that people need to be tuned into.
Bit more than that, if you count everything all in, and this is just the lack of accountability. The administrator of the EPA has been questioned about this. He says the money hasn't gone out. That was their first thing. Well, they haven't gotten the money yet. Now they're saying, well, we don't check out the partner organizations. So this NDN would be a partner organization as opposed to an actual grantee. So why aren't you vetting these people? I mean, this is taxpayers' dollars. And what do they have to do with...
Hey man, shout out to Collective 73. Special shout out to you, bro. You've been sharing us on the TikTok. Right now, they won't let us get our shine on, so we get it through your post. So appreciate that, bro.
telling people how to live and cope better and clean up their environment. So I think that we need to know that these are appalling to me and to many of us who work hard to make sure that we're not just paying our taxes, but we're also making sure that we're making good investments from the federal government. So what are we doing about it? Well, we're shining a light on it and urging the EPA to not disperse this money. And coincidentally, they haven't dispersed all of this money yet, so we'll see what happens. I pushed in the Appropriations Committee for more money for the EPA Inspector General, somebody to follow the money within the EPA, because they know best. An Inspector General would be able to do that. And then I think the most important thing is when we take control of Congress after January, we will be able to defund a lot of this, but we also be able to follow it and do much more oversight. So I'm going to turn it over to my friend from Nebraska and see.
Hey, so check it out. I want y'all to hear that because once again, you can go look House Oversight Committee Biden Inflation Reduction Act, and they break down all the different investigations. But the premise of it is they've been investigating where the money was going for these grants, and they've getting 50, 100 million, 200+ million dollar grants to companies that have nothing to do with helping inflation, bro. You know, they used it under the EPA. They hide in all of these different government agencies. So this is going on while they're in office. This stuff is historic, bro. You know what I'm saying? Real deal corruption that's going, but the whole time they pointed to other people. Now, while this all is going on to the black community, they're trying to push us on this gender war and make it to where they know the gender war was already popping. So they like, man, we gonna make this between the black man and the black woman, but we gotta rise above that and see what's up. Man or woman, you got to call out the bullshit and do what's best for the collective, bro. Because I ain't going to lie. You know what I'm saying? I was one of the ones, too, who didn't really believe in what was going on. But no matter what you know about history, what goes on and done by these people in Congress will affect your everyday life. It just is what it is because you don't control international trade and things like that. That does affect you. It just is what it is. So I want to end off on this. So I want to play y'all another example. The Breakfast Club interview, you had a set of sisters on there who was they using them as the pit bulls to go and attack anybody. As long as some of these black celebrities too, male celebrities like your Plies or your Roland Martin, suckers like that, right? But I want to show y'all this video. Shout out to Pink Book Lessons. It was a sister that just started popping in the scene, Michaela Montgomery. She went on Revolt TV and they having a community forum about, you know, politics. I want y'all to see how this played out. Shout out to another creator called Pink Book Lessons for the video. Hopefully, since it's coming from her, it won't get flagged because it was on Revolt. But if the stream cut off, y'all know what it is. Y'all tap in on Sunday. But let's get to it real quick.
A real question.
Sure.
Are y'all feeling a way that she's with a white man? Are we gonna be honest?
No.
I just want to know.
I didn't have a chance. I mean, you know.
Yeah. So you know you're not. But is that an issue? Like I want to really.
That's a great question.
Like,
you know what?
But
Here's what it boils down to.
So hold on. Let me just put this out here. Wait a minute. I'm feeling some resentment in the building. I just want to put the conversation out there, and we're gonna do more of these shows because I want to bring it back and have a conversation on relationship and all of that.
She want to host conversations about relationships. Ma'am, you don't even have a successful relationship to be lecturing black people on relationships. You have the same feminist let me emasculate black men rhetoric that's been destroying black relationships.
Talk to her.
But I just want to put it out. Black women, we feel away. I'm just gonna keep it real. Black women gonna keep it real. We feel away when we see if Obama had a white wife, we would feel away. Raise the hand, women. Well, we feel just like a little bit of a way. We're gonna be honest about it. Let's be real about it. What sister's gonna be real about it? I'll be real about it.
If Obama's wife was Mackenzie from Iowa or Maria from Miami, there's no way he would have won support of black people overall. Black women would have been so turned off if he had an interracial relationship, they would have turned everybody else away from him too.
That's facts. Tell me that ain't true. I know if he would have had a white girl, I ain't gonna lie, that would have turned, you feel me? So I agree with that.
Everybody knows Michelle from Chicago is what solidified his black American support.
I'll be real about it. They don't want to tell y'all. They will feel away. So I just want to know, so we're looking at all of the black congressmen with their white wives, but I want to just keep it all the way a buck. I just want to keep, and all Republicans, by the way. I just want to keep it all just a buck. I mean, I just want to say that is, because I talk to black men all the time. You know, we went to Chicago to barbershops. I engage a lot with black men. And I just want to, since we're here with all black folks, let's just be honest. There's some men, if Denzel Washington had a white one, we feel away. Not so much if somebody, you know, so I just want to be honest about it. Is that a part of it? Is it because I've heard black men say it. I've seen black men say it. If she has that white husband, I got a problem with that, because who she sleeps with, like Dr. Umar Johnson have said, and many others said, makes a difference in how they feel in her support for black men. Are we going to be honest about it, or are we going to play about it?
That's a very true statement.
It's a true statement.
It's a very true statement. And, I mean, she's not going to do too much that's going to make...
So that's Michaela Montgomery right there. The lady that was just speaking, that's the host, she was the same one that was on Breakfast Club. She interviewed Vivek Ramaswamy. Matter of fact, she had the same type of demeanor that Angela Rye had when she interviewed Dr. Jill Steen. So watch what's gonna happen.
Thanksgiving dinner uncomfortable. She doesn't go by her married name because she doesn't want y'all to remember that she's married to a white man. She's never birthed any black children, so while she's acting like she's about to be the mother of America, you've never had children yourself, and then you go around, you know, parading to black...
Do you have children?
Yeah.
Yeah, you do have children. So you got a problem with women that don't have children?
I don't have a problem with women who don't have children. I have a problem with people making it seem like children are going to be, are the end of everything. I don't like people discouraging women from having children.
Where does she do? I'm just curious, when does she discourage?
Well, whenever she comes to the AUC, the main topic of discussion is
okay.
As if, and I mean, unfortunately, she fits the narrative. Unfortunately, reproductive rights in terms of abortion. They don't talk about allocating any money to fibroid research or endometriosis research or PCOS research.
I agree with it.
All things that disproportionately affect black women
now,
and their
hold on.
infertility.
Wait a minute. Let's just now. I
That's
give
reproductive
now,
health.
I will.
And she's a black woman.
Let's be clear.
And I ain't heard her speak
Reproductive
on it.
health. Well, let's hold on. Wait a minute. I agree with you on that, because they do need to talk more about. We were talking about it in the dressing room about fibroids and IUD, because I do want to say that white women are the ones pushing the narrative with abortion. Get that clear. Let's stop acting like this is a black woman issue. No, let's get this clear.
Every election, it's black women will die unless a
right, but I'm talking about the reality. The reality is when you look at the women who are advocating for abortion, because I'm a mother too, so you talking to a fellow mama. So we're gonna talk about this, and we're gonna stop putting this stigma on black women. I'm not talking about Harris. I'm talking about me and you, mother to mother. It's really important. I want to lay this out, and then we'll get to you, brother. But let's stop putting this black women are talking about abortion.
Stop it. Kamala's been running around disguising terminations as reproductive rights. She's the one who launched a nationwide campaign. Remember the BET Awards 2022? The show they repeated over and over, telling black women to save terminations. It was all led by Taraji P. Henson, right on stage. Kamala was using the same talking points, going from city to city, encouraging terminations. Going to black colleges, speaking to young black women about termination rights. So if anybody created the support for terminations out in the open and in media amongst a modern black woman, you have to give credit to Taraji P. Henson and everybody talking about that mess at the BET Awards show. Then they followed it up on the Shade Room, the whole Black Hollywood from Kerry Washington to Sanaa Lathan.
This is what we know based on facts. So I just want to be clear. I understand the abortion issue, and I tell Democrats all the time.
But I wanted to be clear. I wasn't saying that.
I know, but I just want to be clear because I don't want that stigma out there just running with the trolls in the comments. I want to be clear that black women are not the ones. That's why you don't see us in the cat hats and all of that talking about abortion.
They're promoting this too.
Yeah, but
you're
no,
going to die.
She would never let her speak, bro. Let her speak her thoughts.
And that's where I'm disagreeing with you, because the thousands of women that are out protesting for are white women.
And
that's the bottom line.
Black women that we need.
Right, but we ain't out there though, sis. So let's be clear.
They're telling us that.
But who gives a damn what they telling? We want to be clear.
So how did this become to the attention of Kamala Harris?
Let's not move the goalposts.
The white women.
The bottom line is.
Look at the fellas right there. They already know. Here go this bullshit, bro. We just trying to have a conversation.
Black women are not advocating for. But I agree, and I
like them
and I challenge. Baby, listen, black women been doing what the white women don't tell us what to do. We tell white women to do.
Okay.
So let's be clear. But I don't know what kind of black women you are, but we the type.
Look how she disrespected.
I want to be clear. It's important that we be clear about that.
White women hold positions of power that we don't.
Well, maybe they control you. They don't control the sisters. But listen, I'm telling you that I agree.
Like the white men.
Are you hearing what I'm telling you, or you ain't listening?
I'm listening.
I agree that Democrats.
I just feel like you're trying to make my point something that
I'm not trying to make it. I just want you to listen.
This whole conversation was chaotic, unprofessional, unhinged, and absolutely disgusting. Why? Because of this woman right here. She was gaslighting the whole time. She would ask a question and wouldn't allow guests to speak to answer the question. She would overtalk people she didn't agree with. I'm telling you, she wouldn't shut up. She had to keep going and going, arguing to get the last word in like she was fighting with her baby daddy. The most combative, hostile, unprofessional moderator I've ever seen. A person like this with the temperament of a 10-year-old should not be controlling adult conversations. And no, this wasn't it. It got worse.
Our community has 25 million children.
And how many white folks?
What white folks do don't set the standard in the black community.
I know. I just want to make sure we get the facts.
Measuring ourselves is on. We need to measure ourselves on our own performance.
No problem. I just wanted to know the white folks. That's all.
Fair enough. We've 25 million children, and it's my opinion that the world is better with those children in it than not. Okay. Is in many ways a very difficult topic for a lot of people to deal with, but what we're really not talking about is the root issue, which is premarital sex. Premarital sex is the most significant issue.
You against premarital sex?
So I am actually. I am actually, as of today.
Go ahead.
Yeah. I am as of today. So as of today, yeah. So dig, right? So no, wait, because we got a whole bunch of people in the crowd who gonna claim that they from the community, and I ain't perfect. So hold on,
you keep talking about you're from the community. We all from the community.
No, stop. Let me for the cameras.
Are you married?
For the cameras in the view, I can lay my resume. I can lay my family resume.
No, just ask, are you married?
I'm running for you.
No, just a yes or no. Before you move forward,
I'm running for you. I'm a grown heterosexual black male. Hold on, no, stop. Who has benefited?
He won't answer.
For the cameras.
Somebody answer.
For the cameras. No, I'm gonna give you more than you asked for. I'm gonna give you more than you asked for.
No, but I don't want more than I asked for. I just want to know.
I am a black male who benefited.
I didn't ask you that. I asked you what you did this last time.
At 18 years old, I benefited with another sister from abortion, but that don't mean that I don't know that it's wrong.
Right.
See, one of the issues we have in our community,
relax, soldier, relax.
The issue that
Remember
we have
on
in
the
our
airport.
community.
Hold on, tone it down. Relax.
Fair enough.
Come on, you foaming at the mouth. Relax, baby. It's cool. Relax. You foaming. Relax.
She did this over and over. She would gaslight the guests, wouldn't let them get their words out, kept cutting them off and escalating an argument. Then when the guests matched her energy, she went to shame, insult, guilt tactics, while she continued to argue and show her need to be right. Sign language 101. This flamingo went through every stage of it, just to shut down anybody she didn't agree with.
I need to know this because they want to know. They're asking.
So listen.
No.
I'm a divorcee with a fiance.
No.
I'm a divorcee with a fiance and children.
Let's
see what I'm saying?
Let's stop, because you the one threw it out there. So I just want to know yes or no before we move forward. Are you married? Yes or no?
I'm engaged.
So
I got a beautiful black female. I've been married, right? And I've also leveraged the abortion system.
I just asked you a simple question.
Were
you married? Yes or no? So bottom line, she ain't getting none tonight.
So bottom line, she ain't getting.
I just want to make sure. The people want to know. Ma'am, you ain't getting none tonight because he said as of tonight. No, we're not going to.
You are diverting from the real issue here. The real issue is people don't want to be accountable to the fact
we accountable, but ma'am, you ain't getting none tonight. That's damn shame because he look a nice looking man.
She ain't let this man get out, at least with Michaela, because she's a woman. She didn't want to seem like she attacking her. So she at least tried to get maybe 50% of her thoughts out. This man can't get 2-3 words out, but she cutting off everything. She done dragged it on way more than what it had to be.
It's being used.
We got all that, but I know you ain't getting none tonight, man. Make sure y'all stay tapped in. We got the real issue. We just want to know was you married? And he said he ain't getting none. 90 seconds. We gonna get back. I ain't gonna let you do.
Because the uncomfortable truth. The news media don't want you to hear the uncomfortable truth.
Raise your hand. We just want to know.
Don't. That's it. I've called it like it is. I've called it like it is.
Baby, we gonna talk about it. Relax. But I told you this last time.
We was gonna go back. You wanted me to jump in, so I ran in.
You got to lay out the premise of the argument.
So I'm trying to get there.
Since you said you don't believe in no, because I needed to know that before we got to the debate. We need to know because we didn't know if you was gonna get something like that.
Hey man.
It's funny that she's supposed to be the woman in charge of black men outreach, but she's obviously a chameleon black feminist and 100% on board with the emasculation of black men, which is why a lot of black men are turned off by these folks. This right here is why the only black men that can get in line with them are either a part of the LGBT or beta males. Alpha men and men standing on business will never operate in spaces like this with these staunch feminists.
Never.
They're repellents. Their whole agenda is to control men, pull them around by the nose and tell them what to do and how to think. This is why the black community is upside down in the first place.
So, and I'm not, look, I'm here because I wanted to be here right now in this room, in the city that I live in. I've never, you know, seen a moment where somebody said, hey, we're gonna go watch the debate, and everybody in my age bracket is excited. Right. And I'm like, damn, this the new club. I'm like, let's go. And so to come in and witness this firsthand, you know, I do notice that y'all get a little high key, a little hostile with the energy. And I wish y'all could kind of just keep it a little, you know, just, well, it's nothing wrong, but it makes it hard to communicate.
No, we'll get through it.
Yeah.
And that's facts, Young Jock. Now I'm still mad at you because you made me lose that money on that show we booked in Macon and Scarlett Carson's, but you right, so I'm gonna let you cook me.
This is what family do. Let me speak to this.
True indeed.
Let me speak to this. If people can argue about who's the best rapper, if people can argue about who peed on who, if people can argue about who dated who. That's right.
And the only way for that to happen is I have to actively be present.
Right.
Here I am.
That's right. We appreciate you being here.
Yeah, straight up.
And also, even if you wasn't activated. See, my job being the hood was to go get people who's not activated.
Talk to me.
So nobody, since we got Christian folk, if you're not a Christian, then don't worry about it. But it's about walking among the people that are not activated.
Hey.
So when I was in the streets yesterday in Atlanta, I'm talking to the brothers literally homeless who are under the bridge. We got to get them in the fold. Anybody can talk to their own quietly.
Man, we don't need no homeless nigga out here worry about them.
So we want to be clear that this space is for those who are activated and non-activated, because that's Trump's beyond. Here's where I'll give Trump campaign some credit. They follow the what do they call it, the lost man or the unspoken man? What do they call it on your side? The forgotten man. Where they literally go and say, let me strategically peel off 1-2%. Let me go and get Iceware Vizzo in Detroit to peel off 1 or 2%. And you have people online saying, oh, why they got Iceware? He got clout in Detroit. Yep. So while you ignoring that rapper in Detroit and saying, oh, he don't know what he's talking about, that 1 and 2%, the Trump campaign has been very strategic, whether y'all like it or not. They've been very strategic talking to those brothers that are not getting talked to. Yep. So we want to be clear that the non-activated people are important, and we want them here too, and we're glad to have you.
And if you think emasculating men is the way to communicate with them, then yeah, good luck, ma'am. See, she's been a chameleon for a very long time, fooling a lot of people, hiding behind black California gangsters and faux black activism. This is a feminist. She's been a black feminist for a very long time, but everybody can't be fooled.
3.6 million people listen to me every morning.
Yeah.
From 6 to 10 on my platform.
Hey, shout out to my boy DJ T Swin, who the DJ on his show.
So I'm happy to be here, man.
We appreciate it, brother.
For those laptops, 'cause I know it's gonna make the difference for those kids.
All right, it's the last part we're gonna play right here, y'all. Make sure y'all watch this part.
You did that too. So people who are online, please just watch who you give, who you're trying to knock and who you give respect to, because those are resources that you didn't have to do, but you did it because you've always been a real one. And so we, as a community, we appreciate you, and you should be, if anything, one of the first people to speak, because when people aren't looking, you're still working for us. Mm-hmm. And I do want to say this, and this is, I mean, Tez, I know you said one thing, you said, hey, you know, you sitting next to a big dog, you sitting next to a big dog. But out of that whole stage right there, if Trump wins, only one of y'all going to the White House, and that's Michaela right there.
And
so we got to be honest on what we got to know. We have to know. What I'm saying is, hold on. Out of the whole crowd, only one person. Hold on, let me just.
You gotta listen to each other. Let's hear.
Go ahead, brother.
And this is why the black people, and when it comes down to
finish your comment, baby.
When it comes down to a divide,
focus on
when it comes down to a divide in our community, this is why, because we're talking about everybody being so politically correct instead of in 4 years, what are we going to get? You mentioned chaos. Black people have been in chaos way before this debate ever started. We're in chaos in the homeless shelters. We're in chaos when it comes to the Department of Labor. We're in chaos the fact that Jock has to bring out laptops for the kids because there's not enough resources in our community. Right. And so when we have a sister with a different opinion than ours, it's about giving that respect. The fact that...
Hold on, wait a minute. I gotta... Wait, no, you're not... No, I'm gonna stop you because you're going on and on. This sister here is the one that invited this sister. So if I did not respect this sister, she wouldn't be sitting here, and you're gonna put some respect on that. We're not gonna sit up here... No, you can get frustrated and look down and all of that. Relax. Well, we gotta make sure we're very clear. This platform was designed to bring this sister here. So if there was no respect for this sister, she wouldn't be here. So let's make sure we're using the right context, brother. I don't mind you making the point about one sister going. This is the only sister on this stage that want to go. So let's also make that clear, because I don't work in no White House. So I want to be clear about that. Everybody ain't trying to get a job.
He trying his best not to cuss her the hell out. Listen, ladies, I'm gonna tell y'all some real everyday facts. I don't know how this ain't understood. Ain't no real man who is a man gonna sit here and want to be talked to like that. Especially, he ain't did nothing to her to warrant no attitude, no nothing. He just stated his opinion. We don't gotta sit here and listen and be like, you can talk to us like you my mama. Like, it's crazy. You feel what I'm saying? Like, this is part of the divide. But she just doing her job. Let's be clear, because she's not a representation of all Black women. It's just a sector in the shit that they want to promote. Peep how she doing now.
In the White House. You can continue, but let's not act like she's not respected, because she is. We just have a difference of opinion.
When people are yelling about who's a big dog.
I am a big dog.
And what I'm saying is,
I'm a big dog.
Out of this whole stage, only one person was standing on the stage with a presidential candidate.
Only one person on this stage flipped Michigan. And only one person on this stage organized over 2,000 people every year. Only one person was the racial justice director for Bernie Sanders. Only one, because remember, you don't want to do resumes, because the sister already said she don't have no resume.
Bruh.
So you might want to back that. Yeah, you did. You said you don't have like the rest. Ain't but one sister the senior public policy advisor for Ben Crump. Let's go on to the next. Ain't but one sister signed the front of the check for 1,000 people. Oh, baby, I know you don't want to start doing the only sister. I know you don't want to start doing the only sister receipts, because ain't but one sister served in the United States Air Force. Let's go on to the next person, because I don't like the slight. I don't like the passive aggressive diss, because I run these receipts down. So let's go on, because ain't but one sister served this country on this here panel. So let's.
What, as somebody personally who served this country, your opinion do not matter to any most other citizen. You chose to do that shit, bro. What is you up here acting like this for? You out of your goddamn mind. This is ridiculous, bro.
4 years from now, Black people have to decide what they're going to get at the end of the year. At the end of
to a whole veteran,
and we're dealing with the disrespect right here. 4 years. What are Black people going to get at the?
Because you heard her say she don't have the resume that I got. So go on to the next sister. I'm not gonna handle your passive aggressive distance, baby. I run these receipts down on you. I run these receipts down on you. You talking to a whole veteran. We can't. So baby.
She calling this man passive aggressive when he ain't say nothing to her. He addressing the whole conversation, but in her conversation, she dissing the person she got love for. Michaela Montgomery sitting next to her. She dissing her passively while making her speech to this brother. Like, listen to what's going on.
Nobody impressed about working in no White House. I done turned it down. Ain't but one sister on here that on Fox News. Ain't but one that do 100 hits on Fox News. They don't call this sister, they call me. How many you do a year? How many do you do a year?
I've literally done 30 in the past 2 months.
Baby, I do 100 every year.
And I said what I
do 100 per year. I do 100 per year.
And I just came on the scene.
I'm a big dog.
By the end of the year.
Now, I want y'all to understand the dynamic. I'm pretty sure that the host in the Black is about 20 years senior to Michaela Montgomery. If not 20, maybe 15-ish. How is this a way for a sister she could be doing all kind of stuff out here? OnlyFans, goddamn, all kind of immoral bullshit. She's standing on business to talk about something that's important. And the way that you address her is in this fashion. Look at this bullshit, bro.
I love my sister, but you're not going to divide us.
But you can't deny multiple.
The real thing is going to be, we need to really talk about Black people.
Let's move on.
She say this man not finna divide us. He ain't say nothing negative about either one of them. She said all the negative shit. How is he trying to divide them?
4 years, what are we going to get in 4 years? Let's not talk about the criminal. Let's not talk about the charges. 4 years. What are we going to? What is Harris promising Black people in 4 years?
That was the ballot.
Now look, bro just gave up. Now tell me in the chat. Correct me if I'm wrong. What did he say that's disrespectful to not want to hear his questions and get them answered? It seemed like he was coming from a genuine place. He ain't disrespect nobody. You feel me? So he actually stood up for Michaela because the way that she was being attacked, she was being left out of the conversation because she coming from the Republicans supporting Trump. Now she one of us. She one of the people really from here. Why y'all wouldn't embrace her, bro? That's what I be talking about. So I wanted to play that because we can't buy into the divide that they got for us, bro. It's clear that they want to use the black woman versus black man. Hey, look, you may hate a whole bunch of black men or black women in your past, but guess what? We need each other, bro. So you can play it however you want to. But that's the truth of the matter, because every other group, they move it in a certain fashion, and that to build wealth, you need a family. I ain't saying how your family supposed to be ran. I don't give a damn. I ain't gonna be in your business. You don't be in mine. But the numbers say that if you being out here the solo ranger, think you just finna do it all on yourself and be the only person on the totem pole, man, it ain't happening. But I'm just your homeboy with the news coming with an autonomous perspective. So, hey, look, like always, I appreciate y'all rocking with us. You know, we do this for the people for real. We do this for the streets. We do this for the maroons, for the outcasts, the black sheep, whatever you want to call it. And no matter what happened, we going to keep doing what we do. So, hey, on Sundays, tap into the podcast. If you can, check our website out, man. Support us with the merchandise. I know times is tight. That may not be able to happen. But guess what? Like this video, share it, comment. That's good enough. We'll catch you on the back end. Soon we're going to have a Patreon. Well, we already got the Patreon now. But obviously our channel ain't booming like that to have a whole bunch of people in there. But the purpose is when we get shadow banned, when they cut our videos, we want to go to a deeper level with people who really rocking with us, you know. So in the comments, you can check that out. I just want to show y'all our love, man. Tell y'all from the party, deep down, we appreciate all the support. So that's my time for the night, man. I went 2 hours, but I pulled in that overtime. So, hey, look, like Trump say, they got the taxes on the overtime taken away. So y'all make sure y'all let them know my check should be straight. You hear me? But I'm out of here, man. Like always, y'all keep it positive. Y'all keep it pushing. And I'm going till next time, man. Peace.